Yeah, my name is Father Will Straten. I grew up in a little town by the name of West, Texas, so a little north of Waco.
Yes.
Born and raised there, graduated high school in 1996, and actually came here to St. Mary's in College Station. Graduated Texas A&M in 2002 with a bachelor's degree in agronomy. So the hope was to kind of take care of the sports facilities or landscaping or something along those lines. And then I felt a call to the priesthood, joined the seminary after I graduated, was ordained for the Diocese of Boston in 2009. And I was able to come back here and serve as the associate pastor from 2011 2013.
Right.
And then came back here as the pastor in 2020. So been serving here for almost 4 years now as the pastor. So it's kind of neat to kind of be here 3 different times. So as a student and as associate and then
now as pastor.
Now as a pastor, yeah.
I really wanted to kind of get a feel for the numbers here. You know, the 17,000 Catholic students, it makes up 25% of the population here. The mass attendance is phenomenal. 3,700 on a given Sunday, any given Sunday.
Yeah.
And then 4,500 on game day.
Game day weekend, yes, tends to be 45, even close to 5,000. I think we've gotten.
Oh my goodness! Well, I got to ask. I said, if they win, is the collection plate a little more generous?
It's mostly generous because people will stay and come to mass the next morning instead of leaving.
Right.
Home,
yeah. It's like
it's more likely to give. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if a win had anything to do with it. Yeah, but no, that's great. It just seems like this place is a vocations machine. I mean, y'all have got 9 guys on average joining the seminary. I forget what the number is on the ladies joining, pursuing religious life. 56, I think, in formation currently. What's the secret? What are y'all putting in the water? What's in the holy water, or maybe it's in the incense. I don't know.
So I can say for myself, it was just when I came here as a student in 1996, I had already been thinking about being a priest in high school. But it was the idea that maybe my high school friends thought, why would you want to be a priest? That's not a cool thing to do. Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
And if there was anything that's in the water here, what's going on here at St. Mary's, when I came here, it was this realization that to be a priest actually was a respectable thing to do, or it was an option, or it was a good thing, or it was still kind of seen. So I can remember thinking, when I told somebody that I was thinking about being a priest, it was, why wouldn't you discern becoming a priest? I mean, It was just like part of the culture, instead of thinking, that wasn't an option, or that's maybe not a cool option. It was the idea that well, this is what the culture is, that you do discern a vocation. This could be an option.
Yeah. And
it comes from hopefully your relationship with God in prayer and listening to his voice and where he's leading and calling you to. So I think that, number 2, dynamic priests that were living out their priesthood, and just were great examples of what it means to serve and what it means to be present and what it means to be Christ to others. And I think that was a kind of second thing. And then number 3, also too, other guys seeing other guys, other girls seeing other girls who are discerning, and also finding encouragement in those conversations and talking and seeing others that are like them, and maybe asking the same questions, and also kind of sort of having opportunities of, the world's at your fingertips. You're at a great university. You could go get great jobs. A lot of people that you could date and marry and have a beautiful marriage. But then also too, the realization that other people my age are also leaving that behind and serving as priests, serving as religious, and maybe I could also do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the common answers that we were getting from some of the young guys this morning was community. Like the community, definitely. Getting involved with community has just been helping them with their accountability, their discipline, and all those things that kind of lead us astray sometimes. And so, no, it's really great to see. And this is a beautiful campus, a beautiful new church. What's the secret to St. Mary's success? Is it the community?
I would say community. I would also say building a culture. So 2-3 things. Number 1, teaching what the church teaches. I think number 2, kind of having student leaders. So it's not so much a program that's led by the staff. The staff are kind of mentors and wanting the students to kind of own their faith and kind of live out their faith. So I think that's a second one. I think number 3 is just this realization that there is more to the world than just money or fame or success. That people are looking for something that's tangible, that's real, that's authentic, and that's even, again, kind of beyond what we could find in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so people have found that. I think number 3 or 4, number 4 is too, once you kind of get something rolling, it's pretty awesome to even see that there are a lot of students here now that I went to school with their parents and were involved here at St. Mary's with their parents. And there's a lot of students who would go back and kind of tell their youth ministers or their other students that they were in high school with, or that were under them in high school, that, hey, there's a great church program over here.
Right.
You should come to A&M and get plugged in at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is just a word of mouth, a
Sure.
valorization of the great community, the welcome community, the hospitality, kind of wanting and to kind of being able to form or find a home here,
Mm-hmm.
in a place that one can plug in and encounter God. And so, on one sense, you can kind of continue. A lot of people come from strong high school programs, so therefore you can kind of continue your walk with the Lord when you come here. I think, too, we have a great program that's been continuing to grow, our CIA. So a lot of people who, are actually, they are searching. There are a lot of people who are looking for something. So
Right.
an invitation of teaching what the church teaches, a place that they can encounter God, other people who are their age, who are also living this out.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those things, kind of all together.
Yeah. Again, community.
Community, yeah. And and also too, there's an invitation for inviting people to claim and own their faith. So your faith doesn't just belong to your parents anymore, it doesn't maybe belong to your high school youth minister, but an opportunity for you to say, well, I've been taught this, but I now want to walk with the Lord, and I want
Right.
this to be my faith.
Yeah.
And
One of the, I think, things that Catholicism has in common with Texas A&M University is tradition.
sure.
They're both, we strive on those traditions that we have, and so does the college here. How much has St. Mary's become part of a tradition for these Catholic Aggies,
Sure.
that have been brought up, their parents went to school here, as you said before, you've known some of them. How much has it become part of the traditions of Texas A&M?
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely, the Catholic Church in tradition, just as A&M, sure, I can remember the little kid that gets the onesie that says, class of 2047, right? This
Yeah.
indoctrination, this tradition of kind of
Right.
living this out, following it. Yeah, A&M definitely has become part of I would say St. Mary's has become part of the tradition here in Aggieland, here in College Station. So a tradition of living one's faith, a place that one can grow in their faith, they encounter God, that can, in some sense, kind of pick up where mom and dad left off. So
Sure.
continue to, again, that, as I said a minute ago, that ownership of the faith, but very much of a tradition. So people who come back, even though, as we said a few minutes ago, the alumni who come back for football games, they're excited to come back to St. Mary's. Definitely the music, definitely the liturgy that's student run, definitely seeing people that are there because they want to be there, and so people telling other people about it. And parents telling their children that, hey, I'm sending you to A&M, but I'm really sending you to St. Mary's.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And A&M too. So it definitely has become part of the tradition of A&M, especially for parents who want their children to continue to grow in faith. And it's interesting that people will come to and say, we heard that A&M has a great campus ministry program.
Yeah.
And so people from out of state or from other areas who come to see what's going on here at St. Mary's as they're deciding what university or college they're going to go to. So
Yeah, I'm speaking to young people about, they're moving on. When you get out of your parents' house, it's not them anymore telling you to get out of bed and go to mass, So when you go and tour these colleges you're thinking about, how many of you go and look at the church you're going to be going to?
Sure.
And a lot of them get, a lot of that deer in the headlight look going, well, I didn't have thought of that yet. But this culture is out of control. We got a pretty wild culture that they're living in these days, and these young people have got so many challenges and struggles hitting them left and right. What brings you hope in this future or in the church? We had an interview with Deacon Harold Sivers, and we asked him, with this upcoming culture, the future of the church, and he said, no, this is not the future. This is the church. These young people are the church. So he kind of got me out of the whole calling them the future. They're the now. So what gives you hope for this, for the church?
Yeah. I would say what gives me hope is students engaging in faith, going against the culture, making time to come to Mass on Sunday, even to daily Mass, even recognizing the importance of, making a mistake, coming into confession. So I guess what gives me hope is people are seeking to encounter Christ and to form a relationship with Him, and kind of want to come to know what God's will and plan for them instead of them figuring it out themselves.
Right.
Or again, whether it's a major or job or whatnot, but really wanting to authentically know, what does the Lord have in plan for me?
Yeah.
What's the Lord's vision for my life? And trusting that, the Lord created me, made me, He has a plan, and so people eager to discern that, to know what that is. And so I think that gives me a lot of hope. And I guess the second thing is just, again, coming to Mass here at St. Mary's, the realization that it really is kind of heaven on earth. So students not singing just because you have to sing, but because it's coming from a different place, right? A communion, a connection with the Lord. People wanting to receive the Eucharist because they truly do believe that it is the body and blood of Christ, and not just, again, something you do on Sunday. So I think it gives me hope that people are coming to understand, what the church really is about, and what does it mean to make that a priority or a place in your week, in your day. And people are coming here for, this is my foundation. This is where I find my identity.
Yeah.
It's a relationship with God, right? So they're not finding it, again, there's so many different ways that you can find a kind of identity or who you are the world wants to tell you. But it gives me a lot of hope that students here want to find their identity, in their faith and in God.
That's great.
And
it just seems like this generation that's coming up, or that's here now. When we were growing up, faith was really kind of on the side. You know, you just did it because that's what we always did. It's just that family tradition, And it just seems like this current young people, just generation that's here now, they're in it.
Yeah.
And not because they feel like they have to be in it, they want it. And I maybe we hit that shift, that the hard times create hard men, and then hard men create easy times, soft men, hard times.
Yeah.
So we're somewhere in the middle of that. And I just see like these solid young men. I think we're coming out of those soft times and creating hard men. Maybe not in the sense of, World War II, you got those tough guys that just would do all those things, but they're tough in their faith. Yeah. They're strong. It just seems like they're stronger. Yeah. That to me is hope. Shows hope. Well, Father, I really appreciate you sitting down with me.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
This is great. Thank you for letting me bombard your place. I've been just kind of making myself at home. So.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah. Well, continue to keep us in our prayers. And
absolutely.
I think it's awesome. A lot of people who come and visit here, I always find a lot of peace of, St. Mary's does bring a lot of hope, I think, not just for the community here at A&M, but really for the church and the world. And it's kind of neat to see how a lot of other campus ministry programs at public and even private Catholic universities have begun to blossom and to grow. Yeah. I recognize that this is a great place for people to encounter the Lord.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it's kind of, I guess that's one last question I got for you is, how do we duplicate this in other places? How can we make St. Mary's success, duplicate it in all other areas, in other places?
Well, I think it's a twofold question. We get this question a lot.
Okay.
I think first off, there's that realization that we spoke a few minutes ago, that I think there's a lot of things that allow Catholicism to really thrive here. So this idea that there is a lot of tradition at A&M, Catholic Church has a lot of tradition, there's a lot of loyalty and the kind of military school here at A&M, that's the core, that's part of A&M. So in the church there is a lot of loyalty, you want to be loyal. Sure. There is also too, we're not next to a big city, so a lot of people do stay here on the weekends. You're not next to Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin are a good hour and a half, 2 hours away. So a lot of people are able to stay here and form community, and not like a commuter school or back and forth. So in one sense, there is a little bit of a perfect storm that kind of does allow people to commit, to be part of the community here, to grow in that, and things are kind of rolling. I think how we duplicate this is the realization too that you have to recognize what is your culture. What does the Holy Spirit want to do here? How can you be open to be led by the Holy Spirit? And set a mission, set a vision. It's okay to start small. St. Mary's started small.
Sure.
We've been doing campus ministry for 120 years, so started in 1904 when the first Mass was said on campus. The priest would travel in from St. Joseph's and Bryan. And so, yeah, things had started small and have grown. And so I think just kind of noting your tradition, or your culture, not trying to compare yourself with others, but kind of growing where you're planted and letting the Holy Spirit work in and through you and let the faith grow. So
I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Father. I
Cool.
really appreciate the time.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate the hospitality
Thanks.
as well. So,
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you.
coming.